From JA to UK to LA and everywhere else now, this is a podcast strictly influenced by Jamaican music, brought to you by Eric Kohler and Junor Francis. Well, if you're driving in your car or you're sitting home alone, the Junior entertain you on his microphone with the history of LA Ska. Yeah, hear stories from a guest while we all have a blast. From LA to Jamaica, it's in the podcast. The history of LA Ska. Of LA Ska, yeah. It's the history. Yes, it is. Of LA Ska. History of LA Ska, yeah. It's the history. Yes, it is. Of LA Ska. Of LA Ska. It's the history of LA Ska. One more time, yeah. It's the history of LA Ska.
Welcome to the History of LA Ska one-on-one sessions. I'm your host, Junor Francis, alongside our producer, my good friend Eric Kohler. This session celebrates the ska, rocksteady, and vintage reggae scene in Southern California and beyond through insightful conversations with modern-day talents, and including those behind the scene. And of course, you can't leave out the legends. So whether you listen to this podcast series or watch us on YouTube, we really and truly want to thank you for your support. That's very important. And please remember to subscribe, comment, and share with friends and relatives. So we are very excited to share our Reggae Got Soul, part 1. This is the first, in many more to come. This episode with 3 soulful talents. Singer-songwriter Tony Greene of the Trojanites and Decisions. I think that's a new group he is forming. He's going to tell us more. And among us, there's, I think, the Revivers from Riverside. Singer-songwriter and frontman Obi Fernandez of Westbound Train. I think they're based on the East Coast. And last but definitely not least, very important to mention, is a multi-instrumentalist, songwriter, producer, DJ as well, Ubick of the Lions. And they roar when they roar.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Yes. So, Tony, you were with the Revivers, or probably still is, right?
Yeah. So originally, back in 95, 1995, we started out as the Debonaires. So I'm the original singer for the Debonaires.
Eric, you're right.
And
the great band name. Love that band.
Yeah, so those are my brothers. I went to high school with them, and we formulated alongside of rest in peace my cousin Jason Napayon, and we just did some amazing things together as teenagers. And then as life moves on, you try to make things happen, and then life happens, right? So some of us ventured off into the military, Marine Corps path, and different things like that. And life kind of, for me personally, I was kind of a knucklehead at the time, and got into a little bit of trouble here and there, but nothing too extreme. Set my path toward the Marine Corps, had some struggles in those areas, but my mind was always on the scene and the music and things like that. So a few years later, and I think it was 2005, several members of the Debonaires, we formed the Revivers.
Nice.
And then we just, being good friends, being brothers, we kept it going, and then people started having families and things like that. And, it kind of just, it never really broke up, but, everybody just got busy.
Right.
Yeah. And so I had always wanted to do more soul music in the within the Revivers. We just never really tapped into it that much. We did a little bit here and there, but it was basically just down and dirty skinhead reggae. Yeah.
I remember. That's great. Tony, we're going to come back to you with more on some of your early projects. But guys, thank you all for joining today. Dan, obviously not just the Lions, which do roar, and you and I have a personal connection with the Lions, but we're going to talk about Night Owls, the old geezers, the Connie Price and the Keystones.
Mad geezers, but yeah.
Mad geezers. Sorry,
Mad
we're old too, but mad geezers. Yes,
I am getting older, Eric. Yes, thanks for mentioning that.
and then the OGs and Breakestra that you were a part of too. But yeah, really appreciate you guys. Obi, good to see you again. You all join in on this Reggae Got Soul Part 1 episode with you all are soulful and groovy in your own ways here. Well, we like to start, Junior, right? We like to start with one question as well for all three of you in your ska or reggae baptism. And Dan, why don't you start on this one?
Oh man, I had I guess the first time I heard ska and reggae was in junior high. It was the time of the specials and madness and the two-tone kind of thing. And my good friend Andrew turned me on to all that. And then in high school, I worked at Rhino Records when it was over on Westwood there.
Oh, wow.
And so they had an amazing reggae buyer who got me into everything, U-Roy, the culture, Mighty Diamonds, everything. So that was kind of the first time I heard it. Was working at Rhino Records is when I started really deep diving, getting into.
When was that?
I graduated high school in 89, so 88, 89, 90, somewhere in there. Yeah.
Nice.
I worked there for about a year and a half, 2 years.
I love that.
So Wireways and Roger Stephan, weren't they on the air at that time, Eric?
Wireways was definitely on KPFK. I think
was Roger on yet?
No, I think by then it was Hank and Chuck Foster. Hank Holmes.
Chuck Foster. Yes.
Yeah. Obi, how about your baptism?
Yeah, for me it came more through the lane of like punk rock. And so kind of getting into like punk rock bands like the Descendants and All, and then like all the way to Rancid, and you start to hear a little bit of it, and then like playing like punk ska in high school. And then when I think it was a junior or senior, I went to the original Virgin City and I met Django for the first time. Nice. And him and I had become friends. And so at that point, like I didn't really know much about like the Jamaican ska, or or as Chris Murray will call it, the real ska. I didn't know much about that one quite yet. And then we became good friends, and he gave me this cassette tape. And on one side, it was Ethiopian's Crash. And on the other side, it was a Scatolites like mix. And then I just went home and I played the tape, and I was like obsessed. And I was like, oh, this is ska. No, I want to play it. I want to do this. Like, wow. The punk stuff is awesome, but actually I just fell in love with the groove and the sound and the arrangements. And
what year are we talking?
This is probably like probably like 98 for me, 97, right? So like when the ska boom was kind of happening, but it was like more, to me, like Headcat was like as like traditional as it got, in terms of like my listening. And then everything was more punk driven. And that kind of changed everything for me.
Nice. Tony, how about you?
I got into the scene really early. My sister was in the scene, so I got introduced through her. She was real good friends with Jerry and Untouchables and all of the members of the Skeletones, Paul Hampton, Jonas, Kip, and Mark Cummings, and all the members of the Skeletones. And so, gosh, I was probably about 11 years old. But to be completely honest, I didn't even. It was my big sister's music. So I was at that time I was into DJ Quick and Ice Cube and NWA and all that stuff. All the stuff that was playing on the radio. The ska stuff and reggae stuff that was going on at home. My mom, listened to all calypso and salsa and merengue and stuff like that. So that was all the music that they all listened to. But in 1991. My sister, this was the first show that I went to, was the Skeletones and Scotolites at Spanky's Theater. Wow. Yeah, and I think back at that all the time, and I tell this story that I was like, man, I just wanted to go home and play Nintendo, But the only, it's so funny, man, because the only way she was able to go is if she took her little brother. Mom, this is my mom's thing. Like, you know, you want to go, take your brother with you. And so I went, and I was just like, oh man, you know, I gotta be here. But then in retrospect, I look back and I'm like, dang man, I got to see the Scotalites, like,
right, with so many of the OGs of the Scotalites.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, a few years later, you know, the Debonaires came around, and then we started playing with them, you know, alongside of the Skeletones and Bernie Garcia, going on doing a West Coast tour with them and stuff like that. So that's how my you know, how I got started in it.
Yeah, nice. One more question, and then over to you, Junior. And this is for all three of you. When did you discover the deep and underlining connection between Jamaican music and soul music?
That's a good question.
Whichever one of you want to take it first.
I would say the early. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Okay.
The early Bob Marley and the Wailers, you know, and even some Desmond Decker stuff.
Yes.
You know, that is just more of the, I want to say, almost on the borderline of doo-wop.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
And so without the accent there, you would think that it's, you know, oh, it's some more American stuff that has been released, you know.
Right. And the imagery of the early Wailers too.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like an Impressions cover or something.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I love that. Obi, what were you going to say?
I was going to say for me, so like when I moved to Boston and around like 2000, 2001, essentially. And there, like, it's funny, it's more of like a full circle story, because at that point I had started Westbound and started digging into like records more and more. But it wasn't until I met like Chris Wilson and like.
Obi will come back.
Man.
Pardon.
It's getting good too.
I know the interrupt. He was talking about Chris Wilson of Heartbeat fame. Yeah. Well, we'll get him back. Until then, Dan, how about you?
Oh man, I was just trying to think. Like, I mean, obviously, I've been surrounded by DJs and record collectors forever, and I think it really just started kicking in where I just see so many Jamaican singers and groups doing covers of American soul groups. You know, like, and then I found out like they got all the Southern radio down there from the States. So Stax covers, you'd hear like the Heptones doing Toussaint, or you'd hear Boris Gardner doing Booker T. Like there's so many covers. And I was like, man, and then the Wailers doing impression songs. And it's just like endless. You're like, man, they really were inspired and influenced by a lot of American groups.
So true.
Which is so cool to hear their takes on it. You know, I get so excited when I hear like, is it Marcia Griffiths who does the "Don't Let Me Down" by the Beatles? Right? There's so many just dope cover versions of American either soul or R&B songs that are like almost better than the original.
Yeah.
In so many cases, you're like, wow.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I think back to, and Junior, I learned so much of this from you, but I mean, rocksteady music is soul music. I mean, it's, you know. I mean, talk about
on the offbeat,
right, right.
It.
But to your point, Dan, yeah. I mean, if you look at the catalog of look at Junior's automatic camera, I like that. The incredible soulful singers from the rocksteady era, whether it's Alton Ellis or Ken Booth, so many of them, and just how they can. Junior, you say this all the time, how they can rival any of the American soul singers.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, even the Techniques, when they came after Slim Summit left,
right?
Their first two songs were Curtis Mayfield, "You Don't Care for Me at All," and Queen Majesty. Boom, number one.
Yeah,
there he is.
I mean, Queen Majesty on its own is like
right.
Oh my God,
so many amazing versions of that.
Obi, welcome back. Obi, you were saying Chris Wilson.
Yeah, so obviously, like you heard a lot of like the jazz influence and the rhythm and blues influence as like you start digging, but it wasn't until like I started hanging out with Chris Wilson from Heartbeat and Josh Blood, who had that awesome radio show in Boston too, where you started hearing more of like, oh hey, like if you like this Curtis Mayfield record, like you should totally go check this out. And it was this this cool like, hey, if you like this, go listen to that. And those two guys, and obviously Chris Wilson's like an encyclopedia. But I was going to say that was like the full circle moment, because Chris Wilson would eventually put a band together to play on an Everton Blender record. And it was Westbound Train horn section with Aggrolites rhythm section. Right. So it was like full circle, and we hadn't met each other yet,
Wow. That's wild.
Yeah.
And what year was that?
This was like, I think like maybe like 2002-ish or something like that. That King Man record.
Yes. I remember when Roger was talking about that, Roger Rivas. Yeah.
Yeah, and Chris would be like, "Oh, you gotta meet these guys. Like these guys, like he's like they're like you guys like oh, like, you guys are such nerds about it. Like these guys are like they're even bigger nerds about it. Like
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, talk about soulful sound, the dirty reggae sound of the Aggrolites. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh man,
Junior.
Yeah, something came to mind that's totally unrelated. When Desmond Decker came, he was first met with rejection when he went to audition.
Yeah.
And then I think Derek was in charge of the auditioning. So then I think 2 or 3 years after, Desmond went back. And, he came with all original, one of the few artists at the time who original insisted on original. And Jimmy Cliff, but not hardly any cover throughout his career.
Wow.
I just wanted to throw that in there. Original. Right. Original. Yeah, Desmond Decker. Yes, sir.
Fascinating.
Yes, unrelated to anything we're discussing. So Dan,
talk about a funky band though, Desmond Decker and the Aces. My gosh. It doesn't get much
man.
than that.
I was going to say, like,
yes, sir. Yeah, it was a sad time when he left Jamaica for Europe or England, to be exact.
Yeah,
I've never heard a band cover a Desmond Decker song and sound anywhere remotely close.
Yeah.
Like to your point, Dan, right? Like,
yeah, that's one of the funkiest Jamaican groups ever.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Yeah. To me, like those songs are like untouchable. You're just like,
Toots and My Talls and Desmond Decker.
Yep.
Yes.
Probably two of the top ones.
And they both came around on or about the same time.
Yeah.
Right. Yep.
Yeah. So Dan, your time. So let's talk about playing with playing with funk hip hop outfit Breakestra.
Oh yeah.
And forming your own Connie Price and the Keystones.
Okay, yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, like I said, I kind of like worked at a record store and have been into Jamaican music since junior high and high school, but I just kind of got pulled into the scene I was in via my friend Miles Tackett, playing in the kind of funk and soul scene out here. And he had that group Breakestra that he had started based around a bunch of DJs that were Chemist and Newmark and all these guys that were playing They had a club called The Breaks where they just go and spin all the records that people had sampled in hip hop. And so Miles thought it would be a great idea to form a band to play all those breaks live like a DJ would do it in a set. So he formed this band and we do, James Brown, Simande, all those amazing records. And that was like trial by fire baptism for me too, just hanging around with DJs constantly who knew everything about all that. So I learned so much playing in that band. And
you were, and what period of time were you in Breakestra?
I'm terrible with dates, but I think it's like 95, 96, somewhere in that. And I was in the band for like 7 years.
Wow.
We went to Europe and Japan and toured with Jurassic 5 and Dilated Peoples and all these groups and, had a really fun time doing that. Did that for 7 years, put out like a couple records. And then via that, the guy who kind of got us onto Stone Throw, my friend Egon is Ethan Alapat, worked for Stone's Throw at the time. He and I just kind of developed a friendship, and he knew that I wanted to kind of do my own thing. So I got myself my first 8-track machine and started recording stuff, just me playing everything. And so he's like, this is really dope. We should put it out. And I was like, well, okay, it's just kind of me messing around. He's like, well, you should make up names for yourself, you know, as the drummer and the bass player and blah, blah, blah. And so I did. My middle name's Constantine. So I became Connie Price.
I didn't know that's where it came from. All right.
Yeah, that's my dad's middle name, my grandfather's middle name. It goes way back. But my brother called me Connie growing up, and my wife's last name is Price. So that became my name as a drummer, Connie Price. And so I formed that band, and Egon put out our first record and did that, and then just kind of kept building. We got this gig through Toyota where we were backing all these amazing rap groups and getting flown out to go back EPMD and Slick Rick and Big Daddy Kane and blah, 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 you know, all these amazing cats. And so we did a few records with different MCs on it and kind of went that route just because I was meeting all these amazing dudes. And so, yeah, that's kind of what happened there, is Connie Price and the Keystones just kind of being a funk and hip hop influence thing.
And then, yeah, that's fascinating. And then moving now to 2006, 2007, I specifically remember, Dan, where I was. It was when my buddy Sean and I were managing the Aggrolites. We were having a band meeting. Roger Rivas said, guys, you need to check out this band, the Lions. And they played, Roger played Think, right? Which was the tune that Noel sang. And from then on, completely blown away. Obviously ended up soon after that meeting you and Todd Simon and the rest of the crew. But talk about how the Lions came about.
Oh, man, it was really just kind of a fluke. Like, all of us who played in all these funk bands, Dave, our bass player, who you guys most of you know, played with Macy Gray, played in a group called the Two Piece for a long time. Todd played with the Dap Kings and all kinds of different people. Like, everybody came from the soul scene, but just knowing each other through the years, we all discovered that we were huge reggae fanatics too and loved it. And we're like, we should just kind of get together and see what we do. Sergio and Danny from Orgone were in the original crew. And Todd knew this guy, Andrew Jervis, who worked at Ubiquity. And we recorded stuff. He played it for Andrew, and he's like, we should put this out. So it was literally just like, we just got together and did some stuff, and he put out our first record. And it was just kind of a fluke like that, like a funk thing mixed with a Jamaican influence. And kind of cinematic. It was before, I think Al and Destin were on one song at that point, because Todd and I had just started playing with Joey at that point. Right. So we just met Alex and Destin, and then Shakespeare used to live with the drummer from Breakestra. So I knew Shakespeare from the 90s, and we're like, we should get him. And so finally it kind of morphed into meeting Malik too through Joey, and then bringing Shakespeare on board, and then it just kind of like, we've got the crew now, let's do this, you know.
Nice. You guys started turning heads quickly.
Man, grateful for it. Yeah, grateful.
So Dan, you're back and collaborated with several big names in both the soul and reggae and hip hop, including Connie Price, as you mentioned, the Keystones, the Lions, the Night Owls. Can you share some of the more amazing experiences you gained throughout the years?
Leroy Sibbles being one, right, with the Lions.
Right. Thank you for that one.
Big up to Danny Holloway for putting us in touch with Leroy and Barry, and we got to do a good handful of shows, Reggae on the River and Sierra Nevada with the Leroy and Barry as the Heptones, with Alex singing Earl's parts, and I think that was the biggest smile I've seen on Alex Dezaire's face in the world. He's like, I get to sing these songs with Barry and Leroy. He was in heaven.
Yeah. So. And recorded Picture on the Wall, right, with Leroy?
Yeah, that's true. We did Picture on the Wall with Leroy.
Right.
And, man, I mean...
So for the record, did you guys play Los Angeles?
Club, yes. Right? Yeah, we did Gub Club, and we did Ragamuffins, Bob Marley Day down in Long Beach too.
Yeah.
And maybe I think we did Sierra Nevada with him too.
Right.
Okay, so all right, so I must have seen one of those events.
Yeah, so I mean that was amazing.
Man.
With the Lions, Leroy and Barry are kind of the main original guys we backed. But through a bunch of different things, I got to back.
I guess my computer froze.
Oh,
we can hear you, Junior.
Oh, okay. So I guess your internet connection is.
mine is my internet connection not happening?
No, I think it's mine.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Carry on.
Continue.
Okay, so I don't know. I'm trying to think. What was the question again?
As far as some of the artists that you back, I mean, if you go the route of, for instance, Night Owls, right? I mean, you have so many incredible guest singers, right? That you recorded. So maybe touch on some of those.
Oh, okay. So Night Owls, for those who don't know, it's basically the Lions rhythm section. The Lions was like an 11-piece band, so. Dave, the bass player, and Blake, our drummer, who I'm sure Obi knows too, but the three of us are like, we should just do kind of a little quartet. And we had backed Holly Cook with Roger playing keys. I asked Roger Rivas to play organ, and we were like, this is just so much fun, the four of us, and a little bit easier to kind of corral. So we formed Night Owls after backing Holly Cook, and and it was just kind of my idea to do all these soul songs kind of with a Jamaican twist and bring in a different singer who would fit it on each song. So luckily we had, I know Chris Dowd, obviously, like you guys. So Chris sang on some. Through Chris, we got India Davenport from Brand New Heavies, who sang on one. Alex and Malik and Jesse sang on our Dramatics cover, What You See Is What You Get. And we've had so many. I don't have the records in front of me, but
many good ones. You had Eli Paperboy Reed.
Yeah, Eli Reed was really fun to work with, and he was great. Trying to think who else. Let me look.
A number of incredible singles.
Yeah, so we just did all these singles with a different singer on each song, and like that. And I guess on the hip hop side, I got to, with my friend Davey's group, Roots Allstars, we backed De La Soul for years, and the Keystones backed Big Daddy Kane for about 3 years. So a lot of rap guys for a long time.
Right.
When did that Lions record come out?
The first one?
The Soul, is it Soul Riot?
Soul Riot. That was like our second or third record. Yeah, we did Jungle Struttin' was our first one, which was mostly instrumental with Ubiquity.
Yeah, that was great.
2007 or 8 or something like that.
So good.
And then we signed to Stone's Throw and did 2 records with them, and then Tom did dubs of one of our records.
This Generation, was the first one, I think.
Exactly. Yeah, This Generation's the first
one. The Lions records were like really. We listened to those in the van a lot.
Oh, awesome! Thank you.
It was great. It was good. I remember like when Alex started doing it. Alex was like, "Oh, you got, check this out." And I was like, "Oh, this is so good."
So has the Lions dissolved?
I wouldn't say it's dissolved, but it's kind of on hiatus right now. Yeah, our brother Blake, our drummer, is dealing with some health stuff, which I won't get into. So wishing him just lots of love and hope he's doing great. But and then Alex is doing all kinds of stuff. Everybody's just busy. So it's. I hope we do it again. It's like my brothers from other mothers. I love that band.
Yes.
Hope with all my heart we get to do it again.
For sure. Dan, we're going to come back to you in a bit. So Tony, at the top of the interview, you touched on some of the Debonaires and Revivers. Talk a little bit about some of your personal career highlights specific to those two groups.
Man,
some good memories.
Oh man, there's so many, because early on, with having the influences that we had at the time, as I said, being so close to the Skeletons, the Untouchables, and then I don't think there was ever one single Hepcat show we missed. Yeah, we were right there at every single Hepcat show as a group, even if we weren't playing.
Yeah.
And so that was just an amazing time for the music, and especially in SoCal. And so being on stage, getting our feet wet, and we opened up for Justin Hines. That was one of our first shows with the
Pasadena,
Ellingtons. Right? Absolutely. And so after that, gosh, let's see. Justin
That song
Hines.
Spotlight by Justin Hines, by the way. Oh my God.
Oh.
Justin Hines is the business.
Oh yeah, man. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So like I said, Justin Hines, and then Laurel Aiken, Desmond Decker. Oh gosh, just the Scotalites, going on a West Coast tour with the Scotalites.
Yes, right.
Wow.
With sitting in the van, driving up the 5 freeway headed to San Francisco with Roland Alfonso is just a memory that I'll never ever forget.
Priceless.
Yeah. And just priceless stuff, And gosh, let's see. Oh man, just so many memories, like that. And then being able to share the stage with all the people that you look up to. A lot of Jason and I, we sometimes have these moments where we would look at each other and just say, dude, we're on stage with these people. We used to spin these records and pop the CDs in and play the tapes and stuff. And even playing with some of the third wave bands like the Toasters and things like that. We played Rock Against what was it?
Rock Against Racism.
Yeah,
Ska Against Racism.
Ska Against Racism. Yeah,
right.
Ska Against Racism. And we opened up for No Doubt. We opened and the Toasters, and that was amazing time. Real Big Fish, and just a plethora lineup. Just an amazing history that we were able to be a part of. As the Debonaires, and then rolling over into the Revivers. Playing with different lineup, as I think then at that time the Cheekies was playing bass, and and that's when my cousin started getting ill, so he kind of took over, and I think it was LA Allstars, I believe it was called, where they backed.
The LA All-Star Review, right?
Yeah. Well, they backed just about everybody that that came into town, and being able to sit side stage and watch Dennis Al Capone, just dominate. And this is somebody that I looked up to for so many years. Him and U-Roy, man, I was just like, oh my gosh, man. And not to dismiss Barrington Levy, but definitely Dennis Al Capone and U-Roy are right up there.
Right. It's strange how the dances are changing.
Man with the canary voice.
Yeah.
It's strange.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So Tony, let's come into contemporary now. And that's good memory juggling. I didn't even remember that you guys were on the Justin Hines show, and I'm sure I introduced you.
Yes.
That's a shame. Yeah, so you're now playing with the newly formed Trojanites, and you're also going to debut a quintet. You'll tell us more. And the decision?
Yes.
What do both projects mean to you? But tell us about that. It's sort of a multi-question.
Okay, yeah. So, man, the Trojanites, it actually formulated with Marv Mack early on, and so it was an all-star band that he had in mind. And the first go around with the Trojanites was actually me, Jesse, and a couple of other members. I don't, please forgive me, I don't remember. But we did a show in LA somewhere, and then there was a couple of other people that started singing and did other things, and then it kind of fell apart a little bit. And then he asked me, "Hey, you know, I have this idea. Let's see if we can do this again." And so everything's about timing, you know, and the timing just happened to be right for myself. And he said, "Hey, you know, let's see if we can put this together and see where it goes." And I had been writing different lyrics and things like that, so I had just a whole bunch of different stuff that I had written down, and said, you know, let's see what we can get going. And so I said, yeah, let's do it, and let's see if Malik is busy. Let's see what Malik has going on, because I've told this story to Malik recently, is that back in the Mobtown days, you know, and we were in high school at that time, you know, right at the end of high school, seeing Malik enter the scene with just his dominating voice, man.
Indeed.
It was like, man, I want to sing with this guy. yeah, for real. And that's how I felt for so many years. So it's almost like a full circle to be able to be on stage with him and, you know, share this experience, because he, right along with all the other ones, Greg and Alex and stuff like that, he's the singer that I looked up to as a teenager, man. So it's like, yeah, you know, I finally get a chance to do that with him. So it's great.
Nice.
And some of the other bands I mentioned, you're about to debut as a vocal quintet, right?
Oh, yes, the quintet. Yes, the Decision.
So Decision, yes.
Yeah, so we're pulling out some soul hits, and with some just amazing singers. Myself, Brock Van Pelt from the Charities, a singer from Oxnard named Johnny David, and a very, very powerful soulful singer named Sea Towner from Corona, California. And so this is a project, you know, that we all kind of came together and said, hey, you know, let's have a little all-star group that is all soul, and let's see how that, you know, see where we can take it.
So why that wouldn't work with reggae?
Oh, it would absolutely work with reggae.
Right. And this is you're debuting for Marv Mack as one of his holiday shows, I think, right?
Correct. Yeah, that's on the 13th at Hello Stranger.
Nice.
Yeah.
And Tony, you've also been, over the last couple of years, in addition to the Trojanites, which primarily, you know, hits the let's call it the ska rocksteady scene here, but you've been doing a lot on like the vintage soul and Chicano soul side of things. Talk about how those crowds differ, and maybe are even more similar.
Yeah, you know, it's really interesting because I got to give a little shout out here to Gonzo. He used to do a show called Skinhead Reggae versus Lowrider Oldies.
Right, I remember that.
Yeah. And so because it really does kind of go hand in hand, you know, in our scene, it's, you know, records and reggae and scooters and, you know, and things like that. In the lowrider scene, I guess you'll say, it's records, music, and cars, you know, and it just kind of just blends, you know, hand in hand. And oddly enough, a lot of people in the soul scene or the lowrider scene or Chicano oldie scene, they know a lot about the reggae scene. They know a lot of, they do. They know a lot about rocksteady. They know a lot about skinhead reggae, and it's pretty eye opening, you know. Yeah, and then you run into some, you know, old rude boys, some old skinheads and stuff like that, and you know they have their long beards and stuff like that, and they come up and they say, "Oh man, I was in the scene in the late '80s," and you know, and it's like, "Oh man," you know, they start telling stories and stuff like that. It's really interesting.
Yeah. You know, go ahead, Junior.
No, because I think his birthday was last week, so I thought is it your birthday? Was it your birthday last week, Tony?
No. My birthday is in July.
Okay, I have it wrong.
Yeah.
All right. I was going to say happy
but we
belated
can wish
birthday.
we can wish all of them
thank
a
you.
happy late birthday or early
everyone.
birthday. No, I was just going to say, to your point there, Tony, it's fascinating to see, like, if you look at another incredible singer, Joe Quiones, and you're right, coming
Yes.
from the ska scene, but also now it's such a successful, right, either solo singer or with the Sinceres, doing
Right.
this thing there. The number of the Steady 45s are also, have other projects. So there definitely is, to your point, crossover there as far as not just the audience, but also a lot of people from the scene.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I fully understand that people are reluctant to sing reggae because there is really and truly no money in reggae. I mean, I wouldn't say zero, because if you're like Revolution, then you become millionaire or slightly stupid. But otherwise, it's rough. So when people say, "Man, I'm not singing reggae," I fully understand.
But as far as like reggae is concerned, like I've said it several times, this is something that's got to be in you, not on you. You can't wear it like a t-shirt, and so it's something that for us, there's no way you get away from it. You get bit by that bug.
True.
And it's like, man, there's no scene like the ska scene, the skinhead reggae scene. It's just international. You look at groups like the Travelers Allstars. It's like the Aggrolites. They're known around the world.
Oh yes,
and not just known around the world, they're loved around the world.
Absolutely.
And
they're uncompromising.
Yeah,
because I know both groups fairly well. They're uncompromising. They're not compromising. They're not playing anything else.
Yeah, absolutely. And so we love all of those groups, and it's just something that's in our soul.
Indeed,
It's true.
Obi.
Yes, sir. Obi.
Yeah.
Can you describe the feeling when Westbound Train was signed to Tim Armstrong Hellcat Records, and how that came about? So kind of a two-part. How it came about.
It's a funny story. No, it was great. It was like, man, there's so many ways I can describe it. At times it felt like, you're in the most like intense relationship. Like, hey, do they like me? Do they not like me? Funny enough, when we first started, again, because our first record we did with Django on his Stubborn Records label, and so Jeff had actually played the record for Tim, and we had sent it to him, and there was this we got, like, back in the day, when labels would send rejection letters, we actually got a rejection letter from Hellcat, which is pretty awesome.
Wow.
So we hung it up in the bathroom of our apartment. It was really great. It was really funny.
We've all been rejected.
But exactly, that's part of it. But so I was bar backing at this club. It's now the House of Blues on Lansdowne Street in Boston, but it was back then it was called the Avalon, and it was connected to, it was like there's like 3 rooms. It was like Avalon, Access, Bill's Bar, and it was really, really great place. And the Transplants were coming through playing Avalon on that massive record that they had. That was like the commercial. Like everybody knows the piano riff, and so anyway, I was there, and I was bar backing, and I was actually bringing stuff to for the green room, and struck up a conversation with Tim, and Tim had already kind of known of Westbound, and so oddly enough, in Tim fashion, he was like, "Hey, I'm working on more Transplant stuff. Like, I really like your horn section. Do you want to be on the record?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course." What, he's like, "Are you guys coming to California anytime soon?" And I was like, "Well, when are the sessions?" And he was like, "These dates." And I was like, "Yes, that's when we'll be there." Had nothing booked, had nothing planned. I was like, "We're totally going to be at the same time. Let's make it happen."
Manifest.
And went home that night and it was like, "Oh my gosh, I've got to get us to California." But then there's also something else in me that was like, we've got to go with a new record. So booked shows, started getting on the phone with people like Chris Murray and Brian Wallace and doing the thing. And we made a record in 4 or 5 days or something, which would become 5 to 2.
Because this was during the Blue Beat Lounge days, right?
Yeah, exactly. So we hadn't been out there yet. you know? So we went out there, made the record, and played Blue Beat. That was amazing. Like, I was like, man, all these people like hang out together, because the West Coast thing is very different than the East Coast thing. On the East Coast, it's, you know, you had bands like the Slackers and the Toasters, but they were gone. They were working, they were touring. And it's funny because like the thing that you would always hear is like, oh, West Coast bands don't want to leave the West Coast because it's just the comfort of it, you know? And I was like, when we went there, I was like, oh man, like all these guys like hang together. Like, this is so awesome. Like everybody's like, you know, you could tell there was like friendly competition, but it was like respect.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of respect for, this is what I took away from my first time being there. Like being at a Blue Beat, you had like, you know, Cheekies was there, dudes from Aggrolites were there, Chris Murray obviously is there. All these like bands were just like, this is sick. Dezera was there hanging out. But anyway, when we got out there, played shows, it was awesome. We had the session with Tim, and Tim was like, hey, like, do you guys have any music? And we were at Conway Studios, which is a beautiful room. And I was like, oh yeah, we do. It's a new record. Puts the CD in like the main room and like the big speakers, and like the first note of the first song cracks. It sounds like it was in this like cavernous, like, you know, and he's like, oh, this is great. He's like, let's do something on Hellcat. And I was like, wow. He's like, would you be into that? And I was like, yes, yes I would. so it was great, you know, and also just being in this, doing the session with him and seeing how he operated. And, you know, it was the time when like Travis had like the broken foot as well. So he was playing everything switch, like Goofy.
Wow.
Which was like phenomenal to like witness and see like in person.
Wow.
And then even from there, like later, like getting invited to do other things with Tim. But it was amazing, you know, like that was the label that we always wanted to be on. Like that, you know, Slackers were on that label. Slackers to us were like massive influence and just mentors in a way, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Pie Tasters were on that label. I loved the Pie Tasters growing up. So I was like, okay, this is cool. This is the best company that we could possibly be in.
Indeed.
Yeah.
They understood marketing, that's for sure.
Yeah.
They really and truly understood marketing.
I mean, that shifted everything, you know, like once we were on Hellcat, shows became very different.
Well, perfect segue to talk about how Van's Warped Tour came about and how that experience was.
Oh man, for us?
Yes.
It was that was great. We had done like some like smaller stints. Like I think we did one in like 2004. We did a few dates. But we finally got to do like the whole tour in 2009. And yeah, like being like for a band like Westbound Train to be on the Vans Warped Tour would never have happened without the Hellcat records. You know, like being introduced to that audience. And like that's what, like, you know, similar to the Aggrolites, we sort of became those bands where we had to like go out and prove ourselves every night.
Right.
And really win audiences over, because you're touring with like, you know, that crowd, they've got a lot of aggression they want to let out, you know? And so a band like Westbound would come on, and before you know it, it's like people are making out and dancing and having, you know, it was a different energy. And we kind of had to go out and prove to people like, hey, like there's another way, guys. There's some more, you know, there's a bigger picture out here. But Vans Warped Tour for us would have never happened. I mean, and Kevin Lyman is just such a sweetheart of a dude, right? Like so gracious to so many bands.
Yes.
And yeah, luckily for us, like he was a Westbound fan.
And you played what year?
2009.
2009. Okay. Right.
That's a Blue Beat Lounge 2009?
No, this is Warped Tour.
No, this is Vans Warped Tour.
Okay.
Oh,
but for a band like us, man.
Lounge was
2006.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just trying to think if Blue Beat Lounge was still going in 2009. I can't remember when they.
I don't know when they stopped.
Yeah, I know it started in 2003 basically, but yeah.
Yeah.
But
yeah, Warped Tour is like, it is not for the faint heart. That is for sure. It is a hustle and it is a grind. And we worked super hard, man.
And you could play at 11 a.m. or you could play at 11 p.m. Like, right.
One of the coolest moments was Kevin gave us like a sunset slot at the org.
Nice.
At the Gorge, sorry. On the West Coast. And that was beautiful.
An incredible venue, yeah.
And it was like no effects, finished their set, and then like we went on like right after.
Wow.
You know?
Oh,
So it was like such a juxtaposition in and of itself, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's wild.
That is wild.
And the band hasn't been back to the West Coast since? It's been a good few years now, right?
It's been a long time, yeah. We'd love to come back. We're hoping that we can get there maybe end of July, early August. We're kind of working it out.
So what are some of the challenges the band face why you don't come more often?
Well, I think for us, like Westbound just evolved into a whole nother thing, right? Like we were road dogs for quite a bit, and we went through the cycle of like, hey, like we tour the States, and then we got to go to Europe, and then we got to, you know what I mean? Like you're just in it playing close to 200 shows a year, and we just kind of hit this point where I got married in 2009. So like even like there was something in me that was like, I need to figure out how to go home and be married, like rather than just keep doing this thing. And yeah, I'm grateful that I made that decision, but also it gave everybody else time to kind of figure some things out. And again, like just to be transparent, like bands that spend so much time together, like we needed to kind of come home and figure out if we even liked each other.
Sure. Right.
We needed to come home and just kind of like, you know, and that's what's cool about what Westbound Train is today, is that like, oh yeah, like we're dads and we're entrepreneurs and we're teachers and we're artists, and you can see everybody, there it is. You can see everybody in a bit of a different light. And fortunately for us, we can kind of, you know, it's allowed us to kind of do things on our own terms, right? We can still make records, and there's still an audience that cares, and that's awesome, you know.
But you all have your own lives as well, and
Exactly.
you're not tied, you're not at the mercy of being on the road.
Exactly. Yeah. Which I think allows us to function.
Well, and let me tell you, your latest album, Sing the Ghost Away. So I play so often from 2009, Check Your Time. I mean, it's one of my all-time favorites of all time, and just modern classic. And I feel like this album is just also incredible, and some of the songs, you and I exchanged texts about this, but I encourage everyone to come check that out. Slippery Slope, you come out swinging with the first track on this one, but you sound amazing, and it's just it's something to really be proud of. But talk about the album.
Yeah, you know, I appreciate that. You know, that's very kind. For me, it's important to feel, you know, it's funny, like listening to these stories, I'm so terrible like looking back. I tend to be one of those people that it's always like, well, what's next? And so like, you know, even like Sing the Ghost Away, I'm like, what's next? The record came out. I'm like, okay, I'm sitting on new songs. When do I get, you know, I was just telling my friend, a buddy of mine before I hopped on here, I was like, oh, I feel so behind. Like I got to figure out when I'm getting Westbound back in the studio. I got to figure out, you know, and he's like, dude, your record just came out last month. I was like, yeah, but there's new songs already, man. You know? I think what's important for me is to feel like my best songs are still ahead of me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's important to like, I am grateful for songs like Check Your Time and how they came about. And even like, you know, Please Forgive Me. Like that's a moment I'll never forget, is writing Please Forgive Me in Chris Murray's like living room, you know,
right.
And working with him. And so it's important to feel like, hey, I still have stories that I want to tell, and I'm still experiencing life as a person, you know. And maybe Dan, you can relate to this, like holding up your dad mug. You know, I'm like a dad of two girls. So even how I like operate at home, right? Like you've got to be really gentle, but then there's things that like you need to let out as well. And there's stories that you need to kind of say that like one day I'm fully expecting my daughters to be like, hey, you said this in a song. What was going on, Dad? You know? But I want to feel like I still have like my best songs and great stories to tell ahead of me. And so Sing the Ghost Away.
That's a good outlook.
Yeah. Sing the Ghost Away was very much a goal that I had set, where I was like, this is the record that I want to break transitions in a weird way. Like, I don't want Westbound to always be known for our first Hellcat release or even Come and Get It. I was like, oh, dude, this is the record that I want people to get introduced to and be like, oh, I got into this band Westbound Train. there's the song Slippery Slope, or, Keep Her From the Start. And so that was very like intentional. And I still feel the same thing. Like I want to beat those songs as well,
Yes, sir. Before you all slip into unconsciousness, this is a question for all. What would it take to better blend ska, reggae, rocksteady, and soul music into the scene? It's so broad it can be taken and responded and responded.
I think I might have a little bit of a different take on it, just because earlier when Tony was talking, like out there it seems like there's a little bit like more enmeshment. Here, I love soul music. I really, really do. But here I feel like it's a totally separate thing. Like people that would go see like a Sharon Jones, very few of those people are going to come to a ska show. It's a very different like feeling. Like it's funny, I took my daughter to go see The Sacred Souls a few months ago. And I was like looking at the room and I was like, none of these people would come to a ska show. And so I think for me, one of the, and us as a band, one of the decisions we made was like, we're going to be very influenced by soul music and R&B music and jazz music. And we're going to let all of that stuff come out in this iteration of Westbound. But I'm not going to I'm like very conscious, like we're not going to throw the soul song on the record, where it's like, to me, it's all already soulful. It's like all already there. Sure. It's already inside of it. It's enmeshed with it. It's all around it. And so the people that get it, they will get it, rather than like, oh, here's the soul song in the set, and here's the reggae song in the set, and like, oh, here's where we were influenced by the Wailers, and here's where we were influenced by Prince Buster, and oh, and then out of left field, it's like, oh, here's like the Temptations thing, To me, it's like already, which could be a controversial take. I don't know. But.
No,
not at all. Not at all.
No, and I think it's interesting too, based on the community and based on the fans and the types of shows they go to in the New York side of things or East Coast side of things versus out here.
Yeah, definitely. I would agree with that for sure.
And that was a question for for all three.
That surprises me what you said, Obi, because Daptone, I mean, specifically with what Victor does, is like doing remixes of stuff in the, Jamaican stuff with the Jalen and Gonda records and then Sharon and like
putting out Frighteners, right?
Frighteners, exactly.
But it's a totally different thing. Like it's like even if you go look at the Frighteners numbers, like it's amazing. Like the audience, it's this international audience that Daptone was able to like kind of tap into.
Right.
But your point is, how many of those fans are actually going to come and see some of the ska shows?
Exactly.
Yeah, makes sense.
Exactly. Like ska to me, I love it. And Tony had this really great. I'll quote you. You said, it's either it's not something that you put on; it's something that's in you, right? And I think it's niche for a reason, and I think you either have to like accept that and come to terms with that, or it's the thing that'll kill you.
Yeah, that's also true.
So I think because even the Victor thing, Dan, is like it's like so nuanced, right? Like Victor in and of itself is even like what you guys do, like what you're doing, like. You're a producer that I'm a fan of, that I listen to. It's such a nuanced thing, and it's so good, but it's also very niche. It's the thing that we know could cross into this, like festival universe. Like we're all musicians here. Like we've all had that conversation. Like, hey, how do we become that festival band? To reach that audience. But like I feel like the more traditional something gets, the more niche it becomes.
Sure.
Which, to go back to like Junior's point, there's a reason why like Revolution is the biggest reggae band. I know I'm not even trying to sound like ominous or like the dark cloud in the combo.
Yeah,
no, not at all. I think,
I mean, I don't even think of it as far as how to get into the festival crowd. I just think of it as a DJ who's like, man, it'd be really cool to have a different version of this song to go into from the original.
Totally.
That's all I think about.
Which is what makes you so great, right? It's so pure.
Yeah. But I do think, Dan, through the Night Owls, for instance, as you incorporate and have guest singers from other scenes, like Eli Paperboy Reed, right?
Yeah.
Eli's not from the ska scene; he's clearly from the the blues and soul scene back east, and so you have him on a record, but over. I forget what song it is, but a soul song, I think, but with a
Ray Charles
rhythm, yeah. As you have these singers,
one of the singers we had on the Night Owl stuff is a Jamaican singer. They're all American soul singers, aside from Holly, British, and then we had Tippa and Ranking Joe, but those are the only Jamaican dudes on the records.
Yeah.
The rest is all American soul singers for, just to like, I don't know why. It just worked. I just know more dudes.
It's super cool.
Worked out that way.
That's great.
I think from my perspective and the West Coast perspective, I worked for a production company called 98 Posse way back in the 90s.
Shout out to Bill Fold and Bill.
Oh yeah, man! That was my learning platform. I just got to be a part of so many great things, and to see so many great bands as they were climbing the ladder, and then taking off to the moon.
Yeah.
And but with that being said, you could go to a 98 Posse show, and there'd be a punk band playing. There'd be an Oi band playing,
right?
And then Hepcat would be headlining,
right?
And all of these bands come together and under the same roof, and you have some punk rock kids that are diehard punk rock kids, but they also listen to ska.
Yeah,
it's all punk iteration though. That's all punk. That's like all like a punk iteration,
right?
Like, I would argue Hepcat is probably in my opinion is probably one of the only like ska bands that if I went to like a Daptone thing, or I went to some that, like, if they played, it would just completely fit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because they're so inherently soulful.
Yes.
And so authentic.
Yes. Yeah,
absolutely.
For sure. I would agree with that. But I also think I can't speak for the East Coast, but I think a lot of it has to do with I'm thinking about how I also experienced it, right? So being part of the skateboard scene, at that time in the 90s, you're listening to all of its different music that were at these skate competitions, right? Yeah. And so there'd be, circle jerks and, NoFX and then Hepcat and Toasters, and then hip hop, you can get KRS-One's thrown in there, and, Tribe Called Quest, and, all these amazing artists all at this one place, and you just get this plethora of music, and it kind of all meshes together in one spot. I don't know if that is how it is anywhere else, but that's definitely how it was in the 90s here in California.
Well, and then
everything kind of absolutely.
And then back here in the West Coast too, so many of us grew up listening to like Art LeBeau and a lot of the lowrider oldies and a lot of those soul and rhythm and blues songs. And so I wonder if a number of the musicians, right, who started bands like the Steady 45s or Delirians or even Debonaires, Revivers, these groups, right, if they grew up listening to some of the soul stuff, maybe they're in some of these fans as well, the appreciation and that crossover more so than back east. It's
yeah.
I think again, sorry.
Oh, well, where I also just found so much love is with groups like the Chosen Few, who played the Stylistics, who played the Escorts and Blue Magic, and all of these amazing soulful groups, and it was just it was like, yeah, here's the best of both worlds, right?
Totally.
You know, yeah. And so that's what the Revivers, you know, we picked that up, and it was like, okay, we found a good compromise, because I wanted to do just a whole bunch of soul, you know, and they wanted to kind of stick to, you know, skinhead reggae and rocksteady and stuff like that. And I loved both. And so being able to, you know, do some covers of, you know, Chosen Few and, you know, Elton Ellis and things like that, it was a, you know, perfect storm for us.
For sure.
All I know is when we used to play a lot, when we did one of our rhythms, but Alan, Destin, and Malik would do a medley of classic soul songs. La La La, La La Means I Love You by the Delphonics, Sitting in the Park, all these songs, and the crowd was just like ate it up. It was like the most magical time of the night, because you could just see people relating and loving it.
Totally.
And that's one with some heavy reggae bass line, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, the soul songs are like those are like the common denominator. That's like, you know, that's the familiar piece to the puzzle. Yeah, that where if you are at like a punk show, you know, and like I remember we would play Gregory Isaac's like My Number One, and Alex would come up and he would sing My Girl over the rhythm, right? Mm-hmm. And you could be at a punk show and that's going to go over like crazy, because that's like the common denominator. But I think the 90s were very similar here as well, like on the East Coast. Like it was everybody was like together. But I think as the years went on, like here, it kind of became a little bit more like fragmented, where I feel like even from looking outside, looking in, being on the East Coast, like watching when shows are announced on you know, whether it's like Western Standard Time or Phenomenal or whoever, you know, like I feel like there's a bunch of people that are like, oh man, like it's an event, we got to go to that thing. Right. Where here, East Coast, you've got New York, you've got Philly, you've got Jersey, you've got Boston, you've got, you know, so you also just have the natural geography that kind of like gets in the way of some of that as well. But I do feel like it's like a bit of and ska right now on the East Coast to me feels very different. You have a lot of different sounds. You know, you've got more like punk rock things kind of happening. Like punk ska is kind of like always been the main ticket. Where I feel like on the West Coast, the traditional sound has always been very favored. You know,
yeah. The West Coast is ska heaven for the United States. This
1,000%.
is traditional.
Yes, 1,000%.
Yes, sir. Why tell him the unfairness of time, right, Kohler?
Yes.
The unfairness. So, what is keeping you guys busy these days?
Dan, or Tony.
I mean, for all three.
Yeah. Okay.
Tony, you start.
Before I jump into that, I want to circle back around to what you said about the Delphonics, Dan. A lot of people don't know that the successor to the Delphonics, Mr. Norman Carter, who's been with the Delphonics now for 30-something years, he's Jamaican, and so you know, I've been blessed to do several projects with him. And nice. And so we've sat and had some conversations, and you know, gone over rocksteady stuff, and it's been it's been you know, been one of those experiences that I'll say, you know, I'll save that in my memory bank. Yeah.
And we're very fortunate to have him. He lives out here in Southern California.
Yes, he does. Wow. Yeah. So as far as me, I've been doing a lot of writing. I've started off with different covers, but I've taken them and have flipped them. So I've done several responses, right? So one of the ones that I started out with was I took the song "Tell Him" and made it a response song called "Tell Her," right? Oh. So the song "Tell Him That I Love Him." My response to that is "Tell her that I love her." And so I tell this story about how she tells her story, like what happened, I don't know what's going on. We just kind of fell apart. And then my story is, well, we didn't fall apart. I came to your house and your dad wouldn't let me talk to you. And he said, kick rocks. And don't come back to my house. and so I'm saying, hey, if you're ever around and you see my girl, tell her that I love her, tell her I want to be around, but I'm kind of scared of her dad. So, I can't come back around, so that's where I started. And then, that was at the beginning. So now it's been 1 year, this November. And, the second song I came out with was, so it was Tell Her. And then, Jesus, now my brain is not working.
Join the club.
Yeah.
But you also just oh, go ahead.
I used to love you. So that's another flip. So it was we took that song and flipped the lyrics to that. So the latest one that was just released was the Desmond Decker Christmas. Christmas time.
Just in time.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh.
Yeah. Which is that soulful, it's just a soul record.
Right.
Yeah. So I've always loved that song and saying, man, it was something that I wanted to do with the Revivers. We just never went that route. So like I said, it's about timing,
Well, you're staying very active with putting out some
Yes, sir.
So,
Awesome.
congrats.
It's the same question for everyone. What's keeping you busiest?
Dan?
What's keeping me busy? Let's see. I just put out a single that just went up for pre-order is this group I have called the Mad Geezers that you mentioned earlier, which is basically Night Owls, me, Roger, and Dave, but with Oliver Charles playing drums.
Nice.
Liv Charles.
Yeah.
And so we did kind of a dance hall influence version of Genius of Love, the Tom Tom Club song, with Ranking Joe. Thank you, Ranking Joe. And my friend Destiny singing all the Tina Weymouth parts. That just went up for pre-order. People are scooping it up, so I'm very grateful for that.
Will you touch on the amazing Angelo Moore tune?
Oh, yeah. So we did, I've been working with a friend of mine out of New Orleans, this guy, Ben Epstein, Professor Shorthair, and we've been doing a series of singles, and we just did this one called Under Attack with Angelo from Fishbone, and
nice.
Turned out great. It's all just about
Jesus.
The current administration, and Angelo's lyrics are just freaking incredible.
Yes,
they are.
So look for that, Under Attack, on Super Jock Records. Got those two. We're doing a bunch of stuff for this New Orleans label that I'll tell you about, all kinds of little things. But one thing I'm really proud of is I've just worked on my first movie that's coming out with my friend Magnus Fines. He's the main songwriter and scorer, but I helped him. It's all about the Jamaican women's soccer team, football team.
Nice.
And I guess there's a lot of lack of funding there. And so Sedella Marley, Bob's daughter, helps fund the team through Bob's Football is Freedom kind of charity or whatever. And so she also helped fund the film. We got access to they got access to the Marley catalog. So there's like a Rita song, a Bob song, Steven song, blah, blah, blah. I won't give away all the secrets, but, awesome. And then my friend Magnus scored it, and he had me bring in all kinds of people to kind of do the score in a Jamaican style. So, and when
will that?
It's coming out. They're doing the premiere in New York, I think in February or March, and then we'll see it soon after that.
Congrats, man! Congrats.
Late winter, early spring. Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
So cool.
So Roger played on it all. Danny from Oregon. Liv Charles played drums on it. What's his name? Leon from Ben Harper played percussion, and a couple of the guys from all kinds of different things played on it. So anyway.
Oh my God.
That's so cool. And we'll see more from Night Owls?
No, now the record we just did, which was a comp of all the singles from the last 2 years, is the last recording we did. And So for Night Owls, that's the bookend to an amazing run of singles. So focusing on Mad Geezers right now and other stuff until Blake comes back to us.
Yeah. Well, and Dan, I do want to say just the years that Sean and I work with you and the Lions were some amazing years, and always very thankful for working with you guys on.
We're thankful for you guys, dude.
Having some fun together. So definitely appreciate that.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Let's hear your what are you doing these days? I know you're quite busy.
I'm gonna go put on my versions record.
Hey,
now that I know that we're done. And it is so good, Dan. It is great. Your work is really phenomenal.
Heck yeah.
Thank you.
I am a fan, man.
Thank you so much.
I am busy living that dad life. Yes, making music, figuring out some Westbound shows. We're going to do some shows. At the last 2 weekends of March, we always do, we started doing, it's our third annual show. We're trying to train everybody that the last 2 weekends of March, Westbound will be like in DC, Boston, New York City, Asbury Park. And that's going to be our annual kind of party. We call it,
Awesome.
Westbound Train Swing-a-ling.
Nice.
And so working on that right now. I also work as a worship director for a church out here in Jersey. So there's a lot of music that goes into that, and just events and people and services. So that keeps me super busy. But my goal for next year is to actually get back to releasing some solo material as well.
Cool.
Awesome. So writing with some friends for that. So trying to. I feel very behind. I'm sure everybody can sort of relate.
Only there were more hours in the day,
especially when you're dads.
Yeah, exactly. And then there's some Westbound things that I'm trying to cook up specifically from songs and Riddims from this Sing the Ghost Away record. So.
Well, and hopefully,
the good thing is that you're raising your kids also, so that's great joy.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man.
And I
just watched. Side note: I just watched the Zeppelin documentary last night, Becoming Led Zeppelin.
I watched.
And John Paul Jones was talking about how he started being the choir master and organ player in his local church.
Yeah, there you go.
You're in good company, Obi.
Love it.
Yes, sir.
And hopefully we can see you all back west here.
Oh man, that'd be.
I would love that.
That would. That'd
Please
be awesome.
let me know if you do. I want to come.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah.
Well, nice. Kohler, if no more question, I think we're just
this is great. Any final words, final thoughts here, gentlemen?
Oh man.
Just
grateful just to be in such good company today. Thanks for having me, everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that 100%. Thank you guys so much for having me on. Junior and Eric for just holding it down solid year after year after year after year, man. Our scene wouldn't be what it is without you guys, without Marv, without Steady Beat, and for real. I've always wanted to show my appreciation, and now I get the opportunity to show my appreciation to you guys, because not only was I groomed in it, right? It's from being out here, it's such a big part of who I am. It's not just the music, it's actually a huge part of my personality. So I appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
Please give Malik a big hug for me and tell him I love him.
I certainly will.
Yes, from all of us.
Yes.
And it truly, thank you, Tony, for those words. It truly does take a village, right? I mean, no one promoter, not one podcast, takes, we wouldn't have the content without you three incredible talents and all the groups and musicians that you're a part of. Junior, I think we've all learned and experienced so much joy from what you bring. And very thankful to you, Junior. And I know more Ska Mania announcements to come soon too.
Yes.
Thank you guys.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. So I want to say thanks to everyone for their ongoing support. Please subscribe to this podcast series and, of course, our YouTube channel. Follow us at History of LA Ska on Instagram. and join our Facebook group and tell as many persons and you possibly can, friends and relatives, to join and support. This series is produced by Rockery Radio, my good friend Eric Kohler.
And Obi,
any parting words?
Dan, thank you all so much. Really appreciate your time here, and I thought it was really informative and enlightening and fun, and really appreciate everyone's ongoing support. I'll leave you with this. Please continue to do your part to preserve and celebrate the scene, and come on out, put on your dancing shoes, and enjoy yourself. So much love and be well. Gentlemen, until next time, take care.
Thank you, everyone.
Be well, everyone.
Indeed. Thank you.
Indeed.
All right. Bye-bye now.
Bye, guys.